In this video, I'm going to build an adorably terrifying Krampus animatronic. I'm Clint Carney and I love creating all kinds of art, but in particular, spooky stuff. In a recent video, I converted a store-bought zombie into a pretty crazy mummy animatronic, and I had so much fun doing it that I wanted to make another animatronic for the Christmas season. Krampus is the dark counterpart to Santa Claus in European folklore. While Santa Claus rewards the good, Krampus punishes the naughty. Today's challenge is to convert a cheerful Christmas caroler into a thing of Christmas evil. I picked up this all too cheery Christmas animatronic at a garage sale for just a few bucks, which is going to be the basis of our build. First, let's go over the plan. The first thing that I'm going to do is tear our happy Christmas caroler to shreds. Just kidding. Kind of. Next, I'm going to sculpt over our figure, turning her likeness into our favorite Christmas devil, Krampus. From there, I'm going to paint him up, add details like a tongue, teeth, and fur, and give him some fun props to play with. I was recently decorating my Halloween tree, my Christmas tree, and I realized that I have several Krampus ornaments, but sadly I have no Krampus animatronic. I love building stuff and I'm always up for a challenge, and I am so happy that you decided to join me on this adventure. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is see what we're working with. Let's turn the power off first. What I'm going to do is just start by maybe separating how this hood is attached to the head so that we can get rid of this hair and have the face ready to sculpt on. I actually kind of like the eyes, if you can see them there. We're going to try to preserve those. They're blue. I don't really think of Krampus as having blue eyes, but I bet he would look cool with it. So I'm going to want to resculpt the face. I'm going to want to resculpt the hands, and I'm going to want to add a bunch of fur. So I do want to keep the clothing. Yeah, we're just going to have fun with it. The other thing is Krampus always has like a bundle of sticks. I don't know what you would call it, but to beat children with. So we're going to want to create that bundle of sticks that Krampus is going to be gripping in this hand. Okay, so let's just start taking this apart and see what we got. And now that she's as bold as I am, we're ready to start sculpting. The first layer of this epoxy sculpt is dry, but it proved very difficult to work with. I think, one, it's an old container of the material, and two, it's very cold in the garage, which led it to be very difficult to mix together. I was only able to get kind of a minimal level of detail in there, but this is just the first layer, and of course we are not done yet, so we're going to keep going, see if we can't get this in good shape. The saving grace of this whole thing is that most of Krampus's face is going to be covered in fur, but I do need to get in a good amount of detail for the part that won't be covered in fur. We still have to add teeth, a big tongue, give him horns, and yeah, anyway, Krampus is coming together. Still more work to go. Let's get back to it. If you're enjoying hanging out with me for this build, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to my channel. The more viewers this channel gets, the easier it is for me to make more videos in the future. I so appreciate your time and support, so thank you, thank you, thank you. So the second day of sculpting has finally hardened up, and this is what he's looking like so far. This tongue pops right out, so we can paint that separately. He's coming along. I'm not worried too much about a lot of the detail because a lot of him is going to get covered in fur and he'll be painted, but this whole section is going to be covered in fur, so it's not a big deal. Next step is going to be all about working on his hands. So as you can see, just pretty standard human hands here. He's going to be holding like a big bundle of sticks to do, you know, bad Krampus things with. So what I'd like to do is kind of curl these fingers in. We're going to sculpt some additional detail onto them, and of course we'll be adding fur and all of that stuff. This hand right here is the one that holds the candle. You know, what I'm on the fence about right now is whether or not to leave it as a candle, which is actually kind of cool. You know, obviously it would still need some work. Or do we want to turn it into a torch? I'm actually kind of liking the candle, so we might stick with that. We're gonna see. I'm kind of making this up as I go along. Let's work on these hands. I'm done with the basic sculpting on the head and the hands for now. So the next step is that I'm going to take some latex and some tissue and kind of build up around the face and around the hands and just create some extra texture with that. While the Plastidip is drying, I thought it would be a good time to make Krampus's switch. So I think we've run into a bit of a snag. I put latex and tissue over the face, but on the hands I just put latex without the tissue. But once I sprayed it with Plastidip and it all became a uniform color, it's really apparent to me that the hands look pretty cool like that, but that the extra texture that the tissue was bringing to the face just looks like utter garbage. It's just not working. So I am going to have to peel all of that off, and I'm just going to do a brush-on coat of latex without the tissue now. So have to step back and make the correction, but I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. And while I'm at it, I still don't know if the original eyeballs from the doll are going to work or if they're going to be too deep set into the eyes to work, in which case I'll have to sculpt new eyes, because up till now they've been covered in tape. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the tape off and just see how they look. If they're too deep in the eyes to look cool, then I'm going to have to sculpt some new eyeballs. But yeah, back to work. A little bit of a setback, but we're gonna keep going forward. So unfortunately, the blue eyes are a little too deep in the socket, so you're just not gonna see it from every angle. So I'm gonna have to sculpt some new eyeballs and put those in. But I do have some glow-in-the-dark Sculpey, so I'm thinking that might be pretty cool for the eyes. And wouldn't you know it, I pulled off a horn and part of an ear. So we're gonna just glue it back on and move forward. So I've rolled out a couple different pairs of eyes here. I want to try out some red ones and then also some glow-in-the-dark ones. I think I'm going to go with the glow-in-the-dark, but I just want to see how the red ones look anyway. I'm also going to roll out some teeth using a translucent white Sculpey. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to redo the tongue so that it's red so I don't have to worry about painting the other one. I'm just going to make a brand new one. And just like that, we are back on track. You may have noticed throughout the course of the video that I have a rather obscenely large VHS collection. And what I love to do when I'm doing a build like this, any kind of a build, just making art in the garage in general, is I like to pop on a movie in the background, and that gets me through the build. Then I can measure the build by how many movies I watched in the process. So today's build was brought to you by, let's see, Jurassic Park, which I'm in the middle of, so I imagine by the time I'm done, I'll just about be finishing Jurassic Park. And then before that, I watched Vamp. Before that, Saturday the 14th. Before that, The Blob. This is the original The Blob with Steve McQueen. And I started off the build by watching Forbidden Planet. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Let's get back to it. Okay, we got Krampus all painted up. I've covered him in a matte finish. Right now, he just kind of looks like a weird devil baby. You'll see once the fur comes on, he's really gonna start to be cool. I picked up just a bunch of faux fur. You can get this at any craft store. Sometimes it will be in the fabric department. You can buy it by the yard like I do, because I use it for masks and things like that, or you can buy it in smaller quantities depending on how much you're gonna need. So yeah, we're gonna start attaching some fur to this dude and see how he turns out. Okay, it's almost time to reveal our Krampus in all his Krampusy glory. I've got a lot more content coming to the channel soon, so please consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell. If you have any thoughts on this video, I'd love to hear them. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And now, at long last, I present to you Krampus.
Krampus is coming to steal your children. Leave your fires burning. Do not fall asleep.